Hello everyone, and welcome to my ultimate WoW Classic gold making guide from level 1 and all the way up to level 60.
So as a human, you can go to this cave where you can farm many different materials, including different ores if you have decided to level up mining. But else I like this location for farming linen cloth. Linen cloth is going to be important for enchanters, tailors, but also people who would like to level up first aid. And always remember to pay attention to any nearby chest, as there's a high chance that you will find one of these. And if you play undead, then you could always go to this farm, where you can also farm linen cloth. So why is it that I like to do this? Well, if I decide to level up tailoring and enchanting at the same time, then I can use the cloth to convert it into bolts, then craft green items that I can disenchant, and the disenchanting materials I can then use to craft a wand. And this wand will definitely allow you to level up even faster. And you can also sell this on the auction house. Of course, if you follow any of the strict hardcore rules, then you will not be able to use the auction house or trade with people. But nonetheless, a decent way to make gold. As a Tauren, you also have the opportunity to farm linen cloth at this camp near the starting location. And if you decide to farm here, then always make sure to pay attention to any nearby chest, because usually there's a lot of these spawning right here. As a troll or orc, you can also farm linen cloth, but another farm I like to do as these two races is farming meat. This meat is collected when you kill the different boars. The reason why this material is important is because you use it when you need to level up your cooking. And people who would like to speed level cooking will just purchase this on the auction house. So make sure to always keep all the meat that you find. When you reach level 5, it's also important to learn skinning. At least if you like to farm animals, because these you can skin as you're leveling up your character and farming other materials. Depending on your server, and if it's going to be fresh or non-fresh, on a fresh server I always vendor the leather that I find to get raw gold. But on a non-fresh server, I would definitely post this on the auction house. As a level 7 Tauren, you could always swap to this location where you can continue to farm levels but also cloth at the same time, including many different chests that also have spawn locations up here. And if you wish to increase the gold even further, then you could always level up your mining at the same time. As a dwarf or gnome, you could swap to this location at level 7 to continue your linen cloth farm. And as a human, you have this amazing location with these gnolls that also has a high chance of dropping linen cloth. For those of you with skinning, there's another decent option, and it is to go a bit more south. Down here you can find these prowlers, but also different bears. They drop meat that you can use for cooking or sell on the auction house, and you can of course also skin these. As a horde and with skinning, then I would recommend you to swap to Duertar. At around level 8 you can start this location near the water. And all the way down here, you will be able to kill many different beasts that you can skin. They also drop meat and other things you can sell. Why this farming spot is amazing is because it allows you to level up here from many different levels. The moment these targets get a bit too low level, you just swap to the other side of the water, or well, the river, and then the creatures will all of a sudden be level 12. When you reach level 10 as a gnome or dwarf, then you could always swap to Lochmadan. In this zone, there's many different quests where you need to slay different beasts. So you can do quests, gain experience and gold, and even level up skinning and grind meat at the same time. As an undead, you have an option for farming two different things: cloth and litter at the same time. These walk-ins has a chance to drop cloth, to drop raw copper, and you can even skin them. So an amazing location for farming proficient materials. As a human or a character above level 10, swap to Westfall. This zone is quite amazing, as there's also many different quests where you need to kill different beasts. So you can farm skinning materials, you can farm meat, and you can even do quests at the same time to maximize your experience. And if you all of a sudden also kill some of the birds, then make sure to always keep the light feathers. These are needed by priests and mages for their slow fall ability. This material will be so cheap in the beginning of a first server, but at some point more people will need this at max level, and then they don't want to go back to this area or any other low level area to farm them. As a night elf or any alliance character above level 11, at this area you can farm these moonkins. They have a chance to drop light feathers, small egg, which is a material for leveling up cooking. You can also get raw copper, and you even have the possibility of also skinning them. So many different ways to make gold with these creatures. As a horde in Barrens, and at level 12, you could start killing these harpies. They drop cloth, raw copper, but also light feathers. But if you prefer to level up skinning at the same time, then I would highly recommend you just to kill one of the many beasts in the area. As you're leveling in Westfall, you can also move a bit more south to increase the level difficulty of these creatures. So at around level 14, you could just move to the middle of the map and continue leveling up skinning and also grinding materials. Why I recommend you to kill these creatures at a higher level is because they now also have a chance of dropping additional materials. So there's a way higher chance that you might get 2 meat instead of 1. As a horde that would like to farm cloth, you could swap to these marines. They also have a decent chance to drop different green items and also raw gold, or well, raw copper. If you're going to move to this location, then make sure to also pick up one of the quests in Ratchet, and there's even an escort quest inside one of the buildings. As an alliance at above level 16, then you could also swap to Red Ridge. In this zone, there are so many different beasts, but also humanoids for cloth. And there's even a lot of quests for these creatures as well. So as an alliance, this would probably be the last location I would go to prior to level 20. Actually, as an alliance, there's 2 other things I do to maximize my gold potential. The first thing is in Westfall. If I find the dust devils, then I always kill these. There's a chance you will get a magic dust. This is an item you can use on any target to CC them for 30 seconds. This is quite useful when you level up your character, and even at level 60 when people need to CC in dungeons. So on a fresh server, make sure to keep these for later on, or maybe even use them when you need to do a difficult quest. In Duskwood, there's a quest where you need to hand in a bronze tube. This is a material you can purchase at a vendor, but also craft as an engineer. So as an engineer you can craft them and sell them. Else you can also purchase them at vendors. There's a limited amount of these and the recharge time is usually quite long. So when I level on a first server, I just buy them and try to resell these on the auction house or to a nearby player. The reason why this material is so important is because it unlocks a long quest chain that grants a lot of experience and gold. As a horde character above level 17, I like to go to this part in Barrens. Down here, you can farm these creatures that not only drop linen cloth, but also wool cloth. This allows you to continue leveling up your first aid or tailoring. Just remember that at a low percentage, they will also start to flee, so this can be quite deadly as a hardcore character. Now that I'm already talking about wool cloth, then let me also mention my farming spot as an alliance player. I usually do this at the southern part of Westfall.
As a level 20 horde, you could swap to Hillspread Foothills. Killing these humanoid targets will grant you a lot of decent loot, but especially also wool cloth. So this is useful if you need to level up first aid, tailoring, or just make additional gold. Also make sure to pay attention to any nearby chests, because a lot of these can spawn at this area. In Wetlands, there's a cave with many different spiders. These drop items that you need for different professions. And on top of this, it's also an amazing area to level up mining at the same time. When you reach level 22, then you could always swap back to Hillspread Foothills, especially if you have skinning at the same time. These drop different meats that you can sell, but also a ton of other trash items that vendors for quite a bit. And of course, the leather that you can skin. The downside of this farm is that there's also different horde quests where you need to slay these animals. And if you're an herbalist, make sure to pay attention to any nearby herbs. At level 23, you could go to Stone Talon Mountains. Here you will find different fire elementals that you can slay for elemental fire. This material will be so useful in the beginning of a first server because you need elemental fire for fire protection potions in Blackwing Lair, Molten Core, and Onyxia. There's one thing you need to be aware of, and that is that the drop rate of these is very low. In Duskwood, there's an area where there's next to no competition at any given time. You have to be around level 23 or 24, and if you have skinning, then you will increase the gold that you make by a lot. Also pay attention to any nearby veins and chests. This area is so underrated, and that's one of the main reasons why I like it, also because there isn't really any quests for this location, so you can farm non-stop without too much competition. As a horde at above level 23, you could go to 1000 Needles. The downside of this area is that these casters will once in a while try to heal, and they will also flee, so you could pull additional enemies. But the benefit of this area is that you get a lot of cloth, water, food, so you can continue your farm, and a lot of green items. So if you have some sort of CC or interruptibility, then this area is amazing for farming gold and leveling. As a character above level 24, then you could always go to Asian Whale. Here you will find different water elementals who has a chance to drop elemental water, a material you will need to make frost protection potions that will be needed later on in Classic WoW. As a level 24 alliance, I would go to Wetlands. Here you can slay these dragons who has a chance to drop many materials that will be important early on, and even a pet that you can also sell on the auction house. The downside of this farm is that it's mentioned in many different gold guides, so there's a high chance that this spot will already be crowded. The positive thing is that these can drop many different items you can easily sell on the auction house, and if you have leveled up skinning, then you can also make additional gold right here. If you wish to continue elemental fire farming, then you could always head here to the southern part of Stone Talon Mountains. This can be done from level 25 and all the way up to level 31. You even have a chance of also getting other materials for engineering, but also blacksmithing. And at level 26, you could always go back to 1000 Needles, where you have the possibility of farming elemental water. Just remember to always pay attention to your breath. Another elemental that you can farm in 1000 Needles is elemental earth, and this you can start doing at around level 27. On an early fresh server, this farm is definitely better compared to the elemental water. Here's a quick gold tip for any of you with first aid. When you get to silk bandages or higher, then you'll make a profit every time you turn your cloth into bandages. For example, a stack of silk cloth renders for 30 silver, but if I convert this into bandages, then I can sell it for 40 silver. So a profit of 10 silver for every stack. Alright, so at level 29 you could go back to Arathi Highlands. Here you will find a cave with many different yetis. If you have leveled up skinning, then you can skin these to make additional gold, but else it's a decent spot, especially if you also have mining at the same time, as there's many different veins and even chests in here. At level 32 you could go a bit more to the north. Then you will be in Alterac Mountains, where you can continue farming yetis. These yetis can also be skinned, and if you have a gather profession, mining or herbalism, then make sure to look out for any herbs or veins. At the same level range, you have another option, which is to go to Swamp of Sorrows and farm dragons. Just like the spot in Wetlands, then there's also a chance of getting another pet, and this is a green dragon. And on top of this, many other materials for different professions. If the dragon spot is already crowded, then you could just farm other animals in the area. Why this is a good farming method is because a lot of these drop grey items you can render right away, and these grey items render for a lot of silver. So you can make probably anywhere between 5 to 10 gold every single level right here. Another option to farm raw gold would be to go to Badlands, and in the middle of this zone you can also farm many different animals for raw gold, or well, raw silver. I usually go here at around level 35 or 36. And if you have leveled up skinning, then you can probably increase the gold that you make every single level with 50%. Without skinning, you could just go to Dustwaller Marsh instead. This will allow you to get raw silver from the grey items, and you can also sell the white items, as these are needed for professions. Stranglethorn Whale is crowded with animals, but did you know that this creature has a chance to drop diffused wiring? A material you will need later on as an engineer to craft the repair bot. So if you find these when you level up your character, then make sure to keep them in your bank, as people will need these at max level for when they start raiding and doing dungeons together. In Stranglethorn Whale, you could move a bit more to the south and start killing these basilisk as a skinner. I usually make around 8 raw gold every single level right here, and there isn't much competition for these creatures. At level 37, I usually go to Arathi Highlands, because this is my most favorite farming spot. What I usually farm is these creatures for elemental fire. The downside is that this is recommended in many gold guides, so there might be a high chance of competition. The good thing is that there are so many different creatures, so there's also a high chance that you will get elemental fires. Else you could move a bit more to the south and farm elemental earth at the same level range, starting from level 37 and higher. Sometimes it seems like this is going to be a better farming spot compared to elemental fires, because these creatures not only drop elemental earth, but also so many different grey items that you can winter for a lot of raw silver. So I would probably go to this location immediately if the other spot is already crowded. Like it wasn't enough, then you can also farm elemental water in the same zone by going a bit more to the northeast. As an alliance player, you just need to be aware of one thing: you're close to the horde camp. So don't get too close or you might accidentally pull a guard. Starting from level 38 and continuing all the way up to around 46 is a place in Badlands, or well, many different places, because as you switch to a new area, the level range of these will also increase, and this allows you to stay in Badlands for 8 levels. However, if you got tired of farming these elementals, then you could always go to Daenerys, where you can find these snappers. They have a chance to drop the big mouth clam, and in these clams you have a chance of getting the golden pearl, a material that is going to be needed at max level for various different things. So if you find these and there isn't a market yet, then make sure to keep them, because at some point they will definitely sell for a lot of gold. At level 41 you could also go to Dustwaller Marsh. Just make sure that you are Skinner, as this will increase the gold that you make by a lot. These dragons drop many different materials for professions, and they even have a small chance of dropping the Dark Whelping, another pet we can sell on the auction house. If you wish to continue farming big mouth clams for the golden pearl, then you can do this either at this location in Stranglethorn Vale, or you could always go to this location instead, which is located in Swamp of Sorrows. When you reach either level 44 or 45, then you could go to Feralas. Here you can farm these creatures who drop many different grey items you can vendor for raw gold. But they also have a chance to drop Edge Masters, and these epic gloves is going to be so useful for warriors, even at max level. When I reach level 45, I usually go to Searing Gorge. Many of these elementals has a chance to drop elemental fire, and when these are expensive on the auction house, then you're also going to make a ton of gold. So make sure to visit this location if elemental fire is expensive. And by the way, the magma elemental also has a chance to drop the elemental fire, so make sure to kill these too. When I reach level 46, and if I would like to farm gold without using the auction house, then I go to Fellwood. In Fellwood, I kill the different bears and wolves, as these has a high chance to drop different grey items you can just vendor. And if you have skinning, you will optimize the gold that you make. As you move more north in this zone, the level of these creatures will also increase. So you can easily farm all the way up to level 54 in this zone. For those of you that would like to continue farming golden pearls, at the southern part of Daenerys, you will find this area with these snappers. There usually isn't that many people here, because it isn't really a quest area. Beside the chance of a golden pearl, they also drop different grey items and meat that you can use for cooking. And as a skinner, you either get turtle scale, rock leather, or fig leather. In Western Plaguelands, you can farm these spiders who has a chance to drop the Iron Web Spider Silk. The Iron Web Spider Silk is a material you will need as a high level tailor to reach max level, but also to craft many different rare and epic items. And if you wish to get a lot of raw gold, then make sure to kill the bears. At the same level range, so starting from around level 49, you could go to Ashara. Close to the shore, you will find these creatures that I usually kill to get golden pearls. Else, you could always go back to Feldwood and start farming Jade Fires. These Jade Fires drop a new material we haven't farmed before. The material I'm talking about is Felcloth, and Felcloth is used as a tailor to make Mooncloth. And Mooncloth is used to craft different rare and epic items, and you can even farm Felcloth in another zone, Ashara. This is also starting at the same level range, so from level 51 and all the way up to 56. But even at max level, this is still a good farming location. In Ashara, there's 3 more locations that I like to check out for big mouth clams. And at these marked areas, you will also find various different chests, so pay attention to those too. I often don't have too much competition when I farm at these locations, also because in many gold guides, these spots are not mentioned. In Eastern Plaguelands, I like to farm a new material, the larval acid. Yeah, these vendors for quite a high amount, but the thing is that these are also needed for one of the best epic healer cloaks in the game. So if you find any larval acids, make sure not to vendor these. I've already mentioned the iron web spider silk, and these I also like to farm in Silphus. This starts from around level 54, and even at max level, this is an amazing gold farming method. You'll probably see a lot of level 60s farming these creatures. If the elemental fire is still the material you prefer to farm the most for gold, well, then you can continue to do this in Ungora Crater. In the middle, you'll find this location with Living Blaze. The only downside is that this is usually also fairly populated, and there's different quests in the same area. For those of you that would like to farm Mage Reef and Rune Club, then you could always go to Burning Steps. In this zone, you'll find this area with different humanoid targets. And there's also a lot of different herbs and veins in the same area, and even many different chest locations. So make sure to always pay attention to any of those things. If you would rather like to farm raw gold, then you could go back to Eastern Plaguelands and farm these plague bats, because they can drop 4 different items that vendors for a lot of silver. If you would rather like to farm a material you can post on the auction house, then you could go to Winterspring and farm the Winterfall Firewater, a consumable that is useful for any melee class at high level. So you can either level up this way and make gold, or you can save them for when you reach max level to save gold. If you're not already tired of elemental earth farming, then you can continue to do this in Silphus at the northwest part. Not only is this location great for leveling and making gold, but also at max level. Especially if you also make sure to track either herbs or veins, as there are so many different spawn locations for these up here. On top of this, they also have a chance to drop the Essence of Earth, another material that will be quite expensive on the auction house. If you wish to farm an item with low drop chance, but also sells for hundreds of gold, then the formula for Crusader enchant is your choice. It has such a low drop chance, but then again, when you find these, it's also going to be worth it. Else you could always try to farm another item with a bit higher drop chance, the recipe for the Greater Shadow Protection Potion that drops from the Dark Adepts. And if you have amazing gear, then you could go to this location in Winterspring with elite targets. These targets has a chance to drop an epic item that is needed by hunters. This will allow them to complete a quest that rewards an epic quiver. In the southern part of Winterspring, you will find these elite targets. They will be difficult to kill, so you will most likely need some sort of snare and root ability. But they have a chance to drop an epic item that will be needed by a priest to complete their quest for the epic staff. I hope this guide will help you level up your character and make a lot of gold as you're leveling, but also at max level. For more WoW Classic guides, make sure to check out my channel. As always, thank you so much for watching and have an amazing day. Peace!